praises and General Carl Quadash. I want to get double honors to those Apostle Great Millstone. And in this video, we're going to talk about Deuteronomy 23:7. So now we cover this scripture or this topic plenty of times, but you know, like always, we find ourselves, and it's not gonna be the last time we're gonna have to revisit this topic. But one thing I want to say is, when the gimmicks runs out, that's when men get exposed. After watching this video with the ISUPK and this black woman approaching their camp, it shows what happens when the gimmicks runs out. It shows how empty these guys really are. I want to play a little bit from this video, and then we're going to break down Deuteronomy, the 23rd chapter. But let's play a little bit from this video.
Yes, God, those people are not God-chosen people. They are just another tribe of so-called Esau, or the white man, as you would put it. That's right.
Is Esau
you understand?
Is Esau your brother?
No.
No?
No.
So Jacob and Esau weren't brothers?
Yes, God drove Esau out. So told is Sarah.
So Esau.
See, now he's starting to stutter because he. And this the thing. You're gonna have demons like this always approach the camp. That's why we always push. You have to study. You have to be in these scriptures. You have to explore the scriptures over and over.
Rebecca, right? That will be separated from the womb.
Do they have the same father?
They have the same father. Yes.
Same father?
Yes.
Okay. So you go by who the father is, right?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. Yes, we teach that a nation is determined by the by the father or through the seed or the sperm. But going back to the beginning, the nations were still being set up, and men was becoming nations. So that didn't apply back then, because men was becoming nations, and the nation was still being set up from the Most High. Like going back to Abraham, he had Isaac and Ishmael. Out of Isaac, through Jacob, became a nation. And out of Ishmael became a nation, which Ishmael is the so-called Arabs. So the so-called Arabs are the descendants of Ishmael. But first, Ishmael had to become a nation first.
Do they have the same?
According to the Bible, yes.
Do you abhor Edomite?
No.
You don't abhor, so you love Edomite?
No, I love what God loves.
Do you love Edomite?
No, I don't. I love what God loves.
The only thing I love about Esau is I would love to put a foot up his ass. I would love for the Most High to put that spirit on that dog that he's holding by the leash to attack his ass, attack him by the neck. I would love to put him in slavery.
The Bible said, God told them to not abhor the Edomites.
What does that mean?
You abhor the Edomites.
Have I ever hurt an Edomite? I don't think I ever assaulted any Edomite. I never touched a hair on an Edomite.
Right.
I never did it, but I know who did it. God did it, and God wants to do it.
Right.
Now here come the gimmicks. You know, start a bunch of ranting and that's right, rather than going to the scriptures. But see, and I go to show you too with these black women. You know, they're not for our people. And the Most High gonna destroy a lot of these black women. Now, the few sisters that making assessments, the Most High may have mercy on them. But the ones that's not, the Most High gonna destroy them. Hold on, give me 1 second. Like you. So now, before I go on Deuteronomy 28th chapter, I want to read this real quick. 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto the Most High. So how do you show yourself approved unto the Most High? By what? Studying. And it says, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. And that's what happened. When a person comes up and you can't answer it through the scriptures, you get put to shame. Because why? The person haven't been studying. Now it says, rightly dividing the word of truth. Meaning to sever the word of truth. Using the word as a sword. But for you to use that sword, you have to be skilled. And again, Proverbs 15:28. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer. So the mind of the righteous studieth to answer. That's why we don't get confounded when people come up. But it says, but the mouth of the wicked pour out evil things. You know, and that's what happens. The mouth of the wicked pour out evil things. Those are the men that just pull things out their ass and make it up as they go along, to cover up that they don't have the answer. Because a lot of it is just be a diversion. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy 23:7 now, and let's read it. And it says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Now, first thing we have to understand is the word abhor. The word abhor does not mean to hate. The word abhor means to avoid. The same way if a person have the monkeypox or anything contagious, what you're going to do is avoid that person or abhor that person. So that's what abhor means. Now it says, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land. So now we have to look and dig further deeper into this the Hebrew text. Now we have H130, right? Now they put the word adawamya, right? But when we go further, let's click on 726. Because when we look at this, you see it says Edomite, but then it says Syria. Now, which one is it? So let's click on H726. Now you had Rum, it's like Rum Wanyam. And you see here a clerical error for H130. So the word of the woman wasn't supposed to be there. The word supposed to be there is Assyrian. Then again, it has it right here. A clerical error for H130, a Edomite, as in the margin. Syrian. So the word that was supposed to be placed there instead of Edomite was Assyrian. Thou shalt not abhor or abhor Assyrian. Now I have here 2 Kings 16:6, an incorrect reading. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 23:7, because now that we know that, we can read that with better context now. So the word Edomite was a mistranslation, and the word Syrian was supposed to be there. Now you may ask yourself, okay, if the word Syrian was supposed to be there, why does it say, for he is thy brother? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Now in this case, it's talking about, for us to understand this, we have to go back into the history. Why the Lord said that to abhor of a whore, not an Edomite, or a Syrian, but he's thy brother. We have to go back to the beginning. Now, let's start here with Genesis 11:27. Now, these are the generations of Terah, or Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. So Haran died, the father of Lot, left behind Lot. Now it says, and Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Ishka. But Sarah was barren; she had no child. And Terah is Abraham. What was the other brother name? Salakia. Nahor, Abraham Nahor. So Terah was Abram and Nahor's father, and it says, and Terah took Abram his son, and Lot, which was Abraham's nephew, because his father Haran had passed away. And it says, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarah, his daughter-in-law, and his son's Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran. See that? They came into Haran and dwelt there. Now let's look on the map and let's see where Haran is located. And we look on the north side, that's you see Haran. Right on top of Padan Aram, which was up in there in Syria. Now let's go to Genesis 25:19. So what we got from Genesis 11, that Terah took his sons, his family, and moved unto Haran. And now it says, let's read 32. And the days of Terah was 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So not only did they relocate to Haran, Terah, their father, died in the land of Haran. Now, Genesis 25 and 19. And these are the generation of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram. So notice, Rebekah and Bethuel, her father, was labeled as what? A Syrian. You see that? And Bethuel's father, what name was Nahor, which was Abraham's brother. So they was all kin. Because the Most High wanted that lineage to be pure. So now it says, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Padan Aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. So now Laban also was labeled as a Syrian, which was Rebekah's brother. And they all came out of the line of Terah, which was Abraham's father, on both sides of the family. Both sides of the family derives from Terah. And it says the Syrian of Padan Aram. Now look back onto that map. Padan Aram. You see that? That's why it says about them being Syrians, because that was our brother, meaning our kin. And don't stop there. Now let's go to Genesis 28 and 1. And Isaac called Jacob. Now it says, and Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, which was Hamites. Those Canaanites are descendants of Ham. So Isaac strictly commanded Jacob to not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And this is what he told him to do. Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, which Bethuel was also Abraham's nephew. And take thee a wife thence of the daughter of Laban, thy mother's brother. Because Laban was the brother to Rebekah. And Jacob took the two daughters of Laban, Rachel and Leah. And that's why the Most High sent them back, because they was all kin. And the Most High was building up the nation and keeping that lineage pure. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 26 and 3. And thou shalt go unto the priest that shall be in those days, and say unto him, I profess this day unto the Lord thy power, Yahweh, that I am come unto the country which the Lord sware unto our fathers for to give us. And the priest should take the basket out of thy hand, and set it down before the altar of the Lord thy power. And thou shalt speak and say before the Lord Yahweh, a Syrian ready to perish was my father. Who's that Syrian ready to perish? That was his father. Talking about Jacob. And it says, and he went down to Egypt and so sojourned there with a few and became there a nation and a great, mighty, and populous. And the Egyptians evil entreated us and afflicted us and laid upon us hard bondage. And when we cried unto the Lord Yahweh of our fathers, the Lord heard our voice and looked on our afflictions and our labor and our oppression. And the Lord brought us forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand and with an outstretched arm and with great terribleness and with signs and with wonders. And I brought us into this place and I have given us this land, even a land that flow with milk and honey. So now let's go back to Deuteronomy 23. We found out what Edomite meant. The word there was a clerical error for the word Syrian. Arumya, which means Syrian. So the word there is supposed to be thou shalt not abhor a Syrian. And we broke down why and what connection that Israel have with the Syrians, going back to Abram, back to Isaac, even back to Abraham's father, Terah. For he is thy brother, meaning we had kin over there. So with that, I'm going to close. And Lord willing, this video was edifying. Until next time, all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Shalom.